All right, today we're diving into something, well, it's pretty radical. It's a blueprint for global well-being. And we're not talking about small changes here. This model is aiming for an infinite, self-sustaining, positive future. So where does this massive idea begin? Not with economics or tech, but with a really simple, really human question. So let's just start right there with that big question. What if? What if our systems, our governments, our economies, what if they weren't just designed for, efficiency or GDP growth? What if their one primary goal was to create infinite love? I mean, that's a huge what if, right? And it's literally the foundation of this entire model. Okay, so you're probably thinking, an engine of infinite love? How would that even work? Well, the model starts by completely reframing how we think about love. It says love isn't some finite resource, like there's only so much to go around. Instead, it's something with totally limitless potential for growth. The core idea here is called infinite love accumulation, and the best way to get your head around it is this really powerful metaphor they use. Think of love like a snowball rolling downhill. The more it picks up, the bigger and faster it gets. It's this idea that love can grow exponentially, with really no limit in sight. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right? Life isn't that simple. The model is realistic. It acknowledges that there's always a struggle. You've got this amazing force for infinite growth on one side, but pushing right back against it are all the natural forces of stress, chaos, and decay. So for this whole thing to work, that positive growth has to consistently, always, be stronger than the things trying to tear it down. Okay, so if love can grow like this, how does it actually spread? How does it go from one person to a whole society? Well, that's where the blueprint for connection comes in. This is how we scale it up from individual well-being to a massive global system. The fancy term for how it spreads is coupled dynamics, but what that really means is super simple. No relationship is an island. When love and well-being grow in one spot, say in one family, that positive energy doesn't just stay there. It radiates out, like a ripple in a pond, boosting and strengthening all the other relationships it's connected to. It's this amazing effect that creates unity across the whole system. And there's this really beautiful way the source material explains how this becomes a gift to the next generation. It says, children are like plants. Yeah, they need direct nourishment, of course, but what they really need to thrive is to be planted in fertile, harmonious ground. And that ground, that's the collective well-being of all the adults around them. That's how this positive cycle gets passed down, getting stronger and stronger with every single generation. So that's the theory. It sounds great, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we take this cool, abstract idea and start building a real, compassionate world? Well, the model says we need two key ingredients to make it happen. And those two ingredients are, 1, compassion, and 2, an ecocentric worldview. Now, when they say compassion, they don't just mean feeling sorry for someone. It's an active, 4-step process. You notice, you interpret, you feel, and then you act. And the ecocentric worldview, wow, this is a huge shift. It's about stopping looking at nature as just a pile of resources for humans, and instead recognizing that all living things have their own inherent value. So how do you give that idea teeth? Legally, I mean. Well, it comes from a concept called Earth jurisprudence. It's a legal philosophy that totally flips the script on our relationship with the planet. Think about it. Instead of nature being property that we own, it's recognized as a living subject with its own rights. And that puts the responsibility, the duty, squarely on our shoulders to protect it. And listen, this isn't just some far-off, hypothetical dream. This is already happening. Places like Ecuador, New Zealand, India, Colombia, they've already written versions of rights of nature into their laws. So there's a real-world precedent. We know it can be done. Okay, so we've got the engine, infinite love, and we've got the fuel, compassion, and a new worldview. So what's the plan? How do we build this thing? Let's walk through the 5-step global strategy to make this all real. All right, here is the roadmap. It's called the Regenerative Wellbeing Strategy. And the key thing to see here is that it's a loop. It's not a straight line. You start with a big shared vision. Then you design a strategy. You pick the right policies, you put them into action. And then, and this is so important, you evaluate how it went and you learn. That way, the whole system just keeps getting better and better, feeding itself. Putting this plan into action, I mean, this requires a massive paradigm shift. We're talking about fundamentally changing the goal of our society. We'd go from chasing GDP growth to chasing the well-being of people and the planet. Our report cards would change from measuring economic output to measuring things that actually matter for a good life. And, maybe most importantly, our view of nature would shift from something we use up to a living partner we protect. And a huge part of this new way of doing things is about who gets to decide. It's not about some experts in a room telling everyone else what to do. No, this model is all about co-creation. We're talking about things like citizen assemblies, community forums, surveys, where regular people get to define what well-being actually means to them. That's how you make sure the policies reflect what people really, truly care about. So, when you put all these pieces together, where does it all lead? Let's zoom out one last time and look at the ultimate vision here, the future of well-being. And the scale we're talking about is just immense. This whole model is designed to grow. It starts with, say, a single family. Then it scales up to a network of 1 billion people. And from there to all of humanity. This isn't some small local project. This is a blueprint for total global transformation. And that brings us right back to the beginning. The whole point, the ultimate goal, is to kickstart a virtuous cycle that just keeps going on its own. Imagine a world where every single generation inherits a foundation of well-being from the one before it, and then adds to it. A world of ever-growing love, compassion, and health, not just for us, but for all life on Earth. So I want to leave you with this one final thought, a question that really gets to the heart of this whole thing. What if we completely changed how we measure success? What if it wasn't about what we have, what we own, but about the well-being we create for each other and for the planet? Just think about that for a second. What kind of world could we build then?